Hello, in this video I am going to show you how to connect up your Wii controller to your Windows machine so you can use it on the CXBX-Reloaded emulator, which is a original Xbox emulator. You can also use your Nunchuk, but unfortunately the way it works at the moment, it's like the software is a bit buggy. It's not CXBX, and it is the software that we'll use to connect this up. If you have this connected into here and this is connected to your computer, you can only use the Nunchuk. It doesn't recognize this. Or you can just use this on your own. Can't see much reason to use this on its own because you've only got two physical buttons and an analog stick. And on the analog stick you don't have a click. You have a lot more buttons on here, so I would recommend this option. So if you do want to use a Nunchuk only, just plug it in and just connect this as I'm going to show you. So first of all, what you want to do is type in Bluetooth. But even before that, let's go to set up USB game controllers, and I'll just put that there. And what you want to do, you want to take this back plate off, and there'll be a red button there. Don't press it yet, but you want to press that soon, and that'll start flashing, and that's in sync mode. If you try and add Bluetooth device from here using this option, what happens is it tries to ask for a pin, and on this option I can't skip that step. Whereas it doesn't need a pin, but for some reason it keeps asking for it, and it does it with a lot of Nintendo devices. It might be a security feature, for example. But to get around that, go to devices and printers, so it opens up this window instead. We're not interested in that other window, and go to add a device. And now if we press the red button, it starts flashing. It'll appear as something like Nintendo RV, I think that's the one, input device, and it'll appear as Nintendo after I actually connect it. So it says it's asking for a passcode. Just click next. You gotta do it, see, there you go, RVL. You gotta do it relatively quickly. You don't want this to turn off, while it's in the process. If it does and it doesn't connect, but it's in the devices, just right click, remove the device, then retry the process. I did have that issue. As you can see, it's connected there, but just wait a moment for this, device setup to complete. Okay, that's all done, and it should appear right there. But go into properties, it's not detecting anything, and the lights will start flashing. So I'm gonna put this down a second. What we need is a software called WiiNU Soft, and if we just go to this Wikipedia page, and not Wikipedia, GitHub page, and go to, we don't need WiiNU Pro, we just need WiiNU Soft. The Pro is not really required for what we are doing. So just regular WiiNU Soft, just download the exe. I'm going to cancel it because I've already got it downloaded. And now let's just run it. And I'm going to close this window down, we don't need that. So if I run that, okay, so if you are on an older version of Windows, make sure you install the Xbox 360 controller driver. I'm going to install it anyway. You can install the Scarlet Crush production driver. So just install everything. That's generally easier to do. Click next, click install. And there's another version of Wii U Soft installed. I'm just going to uninstall it because I've already got it installed. And you can just click uninstall. That's the SCP Bluetooth driver installer. So that's basically sort of what you would use for a PlayStation controller. I'm going to click exit. Yeah, why not? So it's asking for the Bluetooth driver installer again. Click install. Okay, that's installed. Click exit. You would just get the installer window and nothing about. Yeah, if it says something like that it's already installed, again, you won't get the issue. So click launch. If not, you can just launch it from here. And here we go. This is still appearing like so. And what you want to do, and I'll show you this. I can actually put this back on now. We don't need the back of it anymore. If I press this ID button, it vibrates that particular controller, because especially if you've got multiple controllers, you may not know which one. And as you can see, it's put it as player one. What we can do is press the Xbox button and map it as an Xbox controller, so either 1, 2, or 3, or 4. Let's do 1. It's an Xbox controller. You'll appear here as Xbox. If I go to properties, the buttons are detected like so. And there you go. That is it. We can click OK. If you want to disconnect it, you just detach it from there. And if you want to remove it, just go to the Bluetooth section and remove it. You do need this open, so bear that in mind. I've minimized it. That just minimizes it to the tray. But if you close it, this will no longer be connected. So you do need it open. Now what we can do is I can close this down. I can open up CXBX-Reloaded and, map the controls. Go to settings, config input, and from here you can do MS controller Duke and Duke or S, whichever one, for port 1, 2, 3 or 4, and then just make sure you got the gamepad selected. And what we can do is start mapping the controls. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to map A to A, which that's mapped here as X. And let's say if I do button B of this one, let's see if I do this as X, this as Y, and for the shoulder, actually I'll just do the D-pad now. As you can see, there's a limited amount of controls. So you will have to bear that in mind when you are mapping. You won't be able to map every single control, but what you potentially could use is a I'll do it at that button there. And yeah, so what we can do is just save this. So if you just put in Wii controller, click save, make sure you do that, click X. Now if I go to configure, that along with all the other profiles that I've created appear right here. So again, that is a little caveat using this. It would have helped if we could connect the nunchuck in there. If we do, it doesn't get detected. This properly doesn't. So this is really only if you absolutely want to use a PlayStation, a Wii controller, and you generally just want to use this on its own. Otherwise, I recommend a 360, Xbox One, a PS4 controller, or something that has a more conventional layout with a couple of analog sticks, a D-pad, face buttons, and the triggers and the shoulder buttons. So I can close that, show you just working based on the controls that are mapped. So I'm gonna open up my recent game, which is Shrek. I'll use this one for the simple reason it has pretty decent compatibility. And when the DreamWorks logo appears, if I press the A button, the A button, sorry, on the controller, I should skip it, and I can move up and down in the menu in a second. There we go, and I believe I'll put this as B to go back. So yeah, that is it. That is how you connect a Wii controller. Like I said, this isn't a long-term solution for playing games you may want to. It's really only practical if your game supports only a few really crucial controls for you buttons. Otherwise, use a regular controller. So that's it. If you have any questions, feel free to pop me a message, and as usual, I look forward to seeing you in the next video.